Hey everyone, for this week we're going to be learning about a artwork of a sun and moon that is inspired by artworks coming out of the country of Mexico, and I'm going to walk you right through the slides and then I'll show you a demonstration of how to draw this today. So on the second slide here that I have provided is an example of three different sun and moons, and if you guys look closely you will see that basically each sun is using yellows, oranges, and reds, and then the space around it is using what we call the cool colors, and those are blue, green, and purple. And there are three different examples for you to look at. And the third slide is going to be showing you our lesson on color theory, the warm and the cool colors, how we take the color wheel, break it in half, and then use those groups of color when we are ready to color this. So today, this first video, I'm going to be showing you guys the drawing and how to incorporate patterns, and then the next video I'll show you guys how to use those two groups together later in the week. So follow along. Basically everything I'm doing is in the slides. Slide number 4, it'll show you same thing I'm going to show you today as far as getting the face of the sun and the moon. But I'll give you a couple tips here as we go through that are not in the slides. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera here to my hands and show you guys how I'm going to get started. Okay, so to get a nice circle, that's what I want to begin with. So I just went and got a bowl. All right, a good way to use a template for your circle. Try to get in the middle of your paper. This is just computer paper, and it fits really nicely right in there. I will outline with marker, but I'm going to start with a pencil, just so I don't leave marks on my bowl. And I'm holding it with my left hand right here. Don't want it to move while my pencil goes right against the side of the bowl. When I take that off, I got a nice perfect circle. So I'm going to outline it now so you guys can all see it. And then we'll get started with the face. So any color marker will work. I really like just solid black. It really looks nice on this project. So if you have a Sharpie or a black marker from a marker set, that'll work really well. Okay. And now you should be able to see the lines. Yes, okay. All right, so let's get started on the face. First thing we're going to get started with is the nose, right in the middle of the circle. Going to be the nose for the moon, and it's pretty much like the shape of a piece of pizza with the crust missing. So I'm going to turn it to one direction in the middle of my paper, use a curved line out, and then a curved line back. And you can see that there. All right. Now, whatever direction that this is pointed, I'm going to start at the top of my nose, and I'm going to go in that same direction with a curved line, and under my nose, same direction with a curved line. Again, look closely on slide number 4, and you'll be able to see this. So I'm going to start at the top of my nose, curve that out, same direction as my point of my nose. Then I'm going to come underneath, and I'm going to be curving this out the same direction. Now when you do that, you've just created a crescent shape, right? So that's going to be our moon, that's going to be our sun. So we're going to go into the eyes now. What I like to tell people is do a smiley face on the moon side. We want them to look like the moon is resting or sleeping. So I started with like a smiley face. I'm going to add a pattern of eyelashes with just small straight lines. And there we go. We got the eye of our moon. Now we're going to come over here with the sun. We want this side of our project to kind of be exciting and bright, and so we're going to use an open eye. So we're going to start with the same thing, kind of like a smiley face, and then we want to turn that into a football shape. So I'm going to start at the beginning here, and I'm going to curve it up kind of like a rainbow. All right, I got the shape of my eye. Inside, I'm going to use the shape of a circle. Get that eyeball. And to get the real small little pupil, we can also add a circle in the middle of that. So it's kind of that football shape with a circle. And then this same pattern that I added here for the eyelashes, I'm going to do on this side, on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go through, add my pattern lines. Okay. And here we are, kind of working with the idea of patterns, repeating lines, repeating shapes. A lot of the projects keep looking back at that. Okay, let's talk about the mouth. So the mouth, how I do this is I want the mouth to cross over both the sun and the moon side. So I'm going to start with what we do in kindergarten, right? We're going to get our smiley face like that. Okay, right above it, right up here, I'm going to be doing a small letter U. Okay, or the letter V, but pretty much U. I'm going to curve it a little so you can see that. Okay, next I'm going to use two curved lines, one from the U to the edge of that first curve that I made for the mouth, and then from this side, curve line out and connect. All right, so started with the curve line for the mouth, I added the letter U, then curve lines that meet the two corners of the mouth. Now I'm going to put a wavy line right through it. Okay, there we go. I got my lips. That's really the hardest part of the face. So this is something that I would practice a few times, maybe on another separate sheet of paper, and then come back to it. All right, so we're going to start working on the negative space, right? We keep hearing a lot of these words through a lot of our projects. The negative space, the space around the shape of the sun and the moon. I'm going to break it into two sections. So I'm going to start with find the middle and top of my circle and draw a line off the paper. Find the bottom middle of my circle and draw a line straight off the paper, separating these two areas. Okay, so you should be able to see that there. And I'm going to use straight lines on the sun side. So that's the side with the eye that's open. And I'm going to begin at the circle and move my way out to the edges of the paper. Straight lines repeating, creating a pattern. All the way around the sun side of my circle. Okay. Right there, we got that space filled up. Now this side is going to be opposite. Instead of straight lines, we're going to work with curved lines. So what I like to do is right above the moon, I'm going to move up a little bit. Now I'm going to start following that half circle, getting my first line. Now I'm going to go to a curved line again. And each time I'm trying to keep that space between this line and that line, okay? So as you go around, making sure you leave space for patterns. We're going to put some patterns in there with shapes and lines in a moment. And I was able to fit 3, so maybe you'll be able to fit a few more or less. And that is about it, okay, as far as the drawing. Now we get to have some fun, go in there with some pattern. All different kinds of patterns. You can look at the examples on slide 2. A lot of great pattern ideas in there. What I'm going to do is I want this side to be kind of alive and moving and energy. So I'm going to use some zigzag patterns that kind of create this movement throughout my picture. There we go. And I'm going to use really sharp looking triangles. All right. And it just kind of creates this movement, this energy burst of light coming out. Okay. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for kind of two different feelings here. We're looking for kind of this movement and energy on the sun side. And we're looking for more calm, relaxed. It's time for bed, right? Thinking about as we transition at night with the moon side, we're going to be adding more wavy lines, some of these calmer patterns. Okay, so I'm almost done on this side. Just kind of working with zigzag and then triangle, zigzag and then triangle, and that's creating repetition and pattern. All right, so that pretty much does it for my patterns on this side with shape and line. Take a look at those. You can definitely come up with your own patterns. Please just notice how each of these sections repeat, right? Zigzag, triangle, zigzag, triangle, all the way around. Trying to bring some unity to our pictures. Now, on the moon side, I'm going to use some wavy line patterns. So I'm just going to take my marker and I'm going to start with some wavy. And this line just continues right through that section around the moon. Okay? We want kind of calmer patterns over here. Like I said, like it's almost like we're falling asleep at night. We want this kind of calmer feeling. And I'll add a dash, a dot, dash, dot, all the way around. Okay? Now we have not talked about color yet. So our next video we'll be discussing those warm and cool colors and how we're going to add to this pattern with the element of color. Right now we're just working with line and shape pattern, okay? Getting in our composition, and then we will be adding color to this, okay? And that'll really make this pop. All right, so just about done going right around. And for today, I just chose these very simple patterns that took up a lot of space. Whoop, went right off my paper. Okay. And so I encourage you guys, look up on Google images of sun and moon. You will see lots of examples. Okay, do a little research. Challenge yourself. Get to know your artwork a little better. All right, so that's it for today. Okay, and here's my completed composition. So you can take a look at that. You can pause the video right here if you need some time to look closely and see how you can borrow some of my ideas. Again, I borrowed ideas from images I found on Google, so I encourage you to do the same. Have a great time doing this. Look forward to showing you the next video, which will be adding our 2 color groups, warm and cool colors. I'll have that later on this week. Have a fun time coloring. I hope you guys are staying crafty. Talk to you later.